What's up? It is Tuesday, December 10th, and we're gonna do this live, but we're gonna have to do it kind of in a weird way. So, let's get right into it. Don't worry about that. That was for the people in the class. All right. So I want you to go to page 83 and 84, and then I want you to read everything on here, and then we're gonna kind of walk through this live. It is going to be a little bit of a demo, and it's not gonna be as great as the whole thing because I can't hold up a whole sheet, and I couldn't get the recording of the students. It was a lot. Let me run and tell that. So go ahead. Oh, let me go back. Let me go back. So go ahead and make sure to get that locked in, and then get this all read, and then that way you'll know what's going on. So pause the screen and do that. Okay, so this is the best setup that I could get. I tried, y'all. Okay. So when we put this in the center, it goes down just a little bit. So we see that. So again, I'm going to go ahead and pull it tighter again, right? Pull it tighter. But when we put that in there, it goes down just a little bit, right? Cool. So that's the first thing we're supposed to do. Put that in the center. Then once we put this around it, boom. We see like no matter where we put that, it goes down to where that ball is at, okay? That's the first scenario. So that's test one. So answer the questions based on what you see here. All right, cool. I'm going to pause, and I'm going to set up for test number 2. So you answer the questions for test number 1. All right, so test number 2 says put a ping pong ball in there, right? Cool. Now it says place a croquet ball a little bit away from that. Boom. And you kind of see what happens there. So again, we'll place this ping pong ball here. Let's just see where we're going to place it. Place it there. And then when we place, you see that, the ping pong ball, and this doesn't work exactly like that, but the ping pong ball goes to the actual croquet ball. So like wherever we put this thing here, and I'm going to try to stretch this thing out again. It's cool. But wherever we put it, boom, the ping pong ball goes to the croquet ball. Okay, cool. Answer the questions for test number 2. Let's go to test number 3. I'm going to pause it, reset up for test number 3. You answer the questions for test number 2. Make sure you have all the questions for test number 2 answered. Okay, cool. Now, we are going to put 2 croquet balls and see what happens. So it says a small distance apart. Let's see if I put them further distance apart, what happens. Boom. Uh-oh. I don't want my chairs to collapse. Let's try that again. Let's try this over here and see what happens. Boom. As you can see, hold on. Straighten that thing out as much as possible. And I know this is not perfect. Boom. Let's see. Yes. So they go and they connect to each other. So that is test number 3. So answer test number 3 according to what you just saw, and then go ahead and make the conclusion. So go ahead and do test 1, 2, 3, and then get the conclusion in there. And again, I think there is, if you are like, because I know I have one student who's like, I don't have my journal, I don't have my notebook. So make sure you go to the agenda slides, and then you'll be able to get, hold on, let me move myself. You'll be able to get this slide here, and then you can answer all your questions because all the questions are on this slide here, and it is in the agenda slide. For everyone else who has your notebook, just answer it on pages 83 and 84. So get through all of the conclusion questions, right? And then once you have done that, I'm going to move ahead. But once you have gotten all of this done, then you can move ahead in the video. All right, you got everything answered on this page, including the conclusion questions, all these conclusion questions here. So we're going to talk through each one of these conclusion questions. So in our model of gravitational force, what did the indentation? So when the ball sunk down, what did that indentation represent? Hopefully you're figuring that that represented like the gravitational force or the field that extends around the actual object itself. And then what were the 2 interactions? What were the test interactions between object 1 and object 2? How were they different than 3? Well, if you see 3, they went together. In 1 and 2, it seemed like the object with the bigger mass went closer. The object with the bigger mass didn't move, and the object with the smaller mass came to it, right? So you kind of saw that kind of thing. What does that tell us about the mass of objects? Basically, hopefully you get this idea that the more mass, the more gravity an object has. And then in our model, were we actually observing the gravitational force between the actual different balls? So between the ping pong ball and the croquet ball, and between the croquet ball and croquet ball, hopefully you're going to say, no, we were still observing the gravity of the most massive thing around us, and that is the planet Earth. So if you take a look, these are the answers right here. So the object with the larger mass will pull the object with the smaller mass towards it. In the first two tests, the ping pong ball rolled towards the croquet ball. And in third test, the two croquet balls rolled towards each other. And then the strength of the gravitational field of the ball, right? And then also the last thing there is, no, we were actually observing the pull of Earth's gravity. But the shape of the sheet and the motion of the ball illustrate how gravitational attraction between objects would look like if you could observe it on Earth, right? So that's kind of what it looks like. So that is everything that you need to do for today. Make sure that you have all these other things answered. Make sure you have labels. Make sure you've drawn your labels. Make sure make sure you've drawn your diagrams. Make sure they're labeled. Make sure you got arrows and all of those things. We will submit this later. So make sure you got all of this ready to go. That is it for today. All right, y'all. Peace.